Are you about to buy a home in Cleveland? If so, stop what you're doing for just a moment, because I'm about to reveal the top 5 mistakes home buyers make that could cost you big time. And these aren't little mistakes either. These are the ones that could end up making or breaking your whole experience, whether it's with losing out on that dream home or having unexpected bills at closing. And be sure to stick around for the 5th mistake, because a lot of buyers are getting this one wrong and it's costing them the home that they want. What's up guys? Anthony Esposito with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert right here in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 5th home, having someone in your corner that knows the ins and outs of the market can make all the difference. I help buyers just like you every week to find the perfect home and avoid costly mistakes. If you're ready to make that move, you can contact me directly here, or you can go in the description below and use one of the methods I have listed there. I'm ready to help you make this move stress-free and as smooth as possible. So the first mistake that I am seeing a lot is kind of new to the market. It's the misconception of the buyer-broker agreement. And this, it's not just another paperwork. This is here to protect you as a buyer. And unfortunately, it's the only way that you can have representation and get into a house outside of an open house. An agent, whether it's the list agent or you have your buyer's agent in place, they cannot open up that door until you have a buyer-broker agreement signed. That's the new rules, and that's for any agent, not just realtors. There's a whole nother law that went into place that goes for all the other agents out there that are not part of NAR. And this agreement is between you and the agent that you're choosing to have represent you. It's basically saying that you are willing to pay a certain amount, whether it's flat fee, percentage, it's whatever you and that agent work out together and negotiate. It's what you're willing to pay to have that representation. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it comes directly out of your pocket. There's multiple ways that you can end up having it paid for. The majority of sellers that we're seeing in this market right now are either offering some form of compensation or some form of concessions for the buyers. There is not many out there that are not, because at the end of the day, the seller's main focus is what they are netting. So as long as they get what they want to net, a lot of them have no issue paying for either the compensation or concessions for buyers. So it can come directly from the seller. Yes, it can come directly from you, and in some cases that may have to happen. Or you can end up kind of putting it in your mortgage. And in the sense that you do that, you may have to offset what you want to offer that seller. So say $300,000 for instance, you may have to go to say $303,000 if that's your fee. It just really depends to kind of offset that, give the net amount to the seller. And it's not that, you know, it's directly coming out of the seller's pocket, but it kind of goes into your mortgage. And at the end of the day, if it's not your last home, you figure on average right now is around 10 years you're going to be in the home, have your lender run the math. Putting it in your mortgage in a sense, in that aspect, let's say it adds $20 extra a month. That might not add up to the full amount that you agreed on with your buyer's agent. But keep it in mind, whatever that negotiated compensation is, you may have to pay for that out of pocket. But in this market area, like I said, the majority of sellers are offering some form of compensation or concession. But you do need to have that signed before you can view a home outside of an open house. That is an absolute must. There's no way around it. It's the new laws in place. They're there to protect you and allow you to know exactly what your agent who's representing you is going to do for you every step of the way. The next mistake that I'm seeing a lot is not getting that pre-approval early enough. So this, it can crush you right out of the gate if you don't have the pre-approval set. You may have an idea of where your budget needs to be. Some people are really good with these numbers. I've worked with a few accountants to where they pretty much hammer it down and they know how to run everything. So of course, they're pretty much in the ballpark. But the majority of you, you're really not gonna know until you get pre-approved. And even like someone like an accountant, for instance, they're not gonna know until they get the full pre-approved amount from the lender because there's so many variables that go into place. Now, you also don't wanna get your hopes up with looking at homes in an estimated budget that you thought of, fall in love with everything, you know exactly what you want then, just to come to find out, you can't afford anything like that. So it is very crucial to get that pre-approval. Now, you can do it on your own before you even speak with an agent, or if you speak with an agent to try and get more information on exactly how the whole process works, what you're gonna be paying, or potentially pay, I should say, for that buyer broker compensation. They also have multiple lenders that they work with. I have a few different great lenders that I work with, and there's not one lender out there that's perfect for everybody and anyone. They all have their special niches. They're all really good with a certain type of clientele. So if you do need lenders, you can always find out from agents exactly what lenders are out there, and we can kind of guide you to ones that may fit your style, fit your personality. But you do want to have that pre-approval because even in a declining market, which we're seeing right now, sellers still want that pre-approval when the offer comes in. It's not like the days of old to where you make an offer and then it's, oh, we'll get the pre-approval after we have an accepted offer. It's not like that. You need to have that pre-approval in place. Sellers want to know. Even when it goes to a full-on buyer's market, I'm sure sellers are going to want to know that they're not playing games and they're not going to have to put their house back on the market because somebody couldn't get pre-approved. They want to see it. So you don't want to start seeing homes without that pre-approval, fall in love with them, and then you find out you can't get it. It's very depressing. It's a real hit to your emotional state and kind of sets the pace for what's to come then, because you get all excited, you're way up here, all of a sudden you're come crashing down because you find out you cannot get exactly what you want due to the pre-approval not being high enough. So get those in place as early as possible. So this next mistake, it drives me crazy because I have 15 years of construction experience. I've dealt with the county inspectors, state inspectors. I see what they've done, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial. I've worked on all aspects as an electrician. It's either skipping the inspection or not taking it seriously. These inspections, they're here to protect you as the buyer, and they could end up saving you thousands if you get it done and take it seriously, or it could end up costing you thousands and just massive headaches, and you're gonna end up hating the house that you're in if this situation takes place. This is a very serious time to have those inspections done because they're gonna show you if there's foundation issues, plumbing issues, electrical issues, septic issues. They're gonna let you know if there's radon. You wanna get radon done with that inspection as well, not just a general home inspection. If you don't know what radon is, it's a gas that comes from earth. It's a carcinogen. You wanna make sure that the levels are below what the EPA has. And another big one right now in our area, the age of the roof. Knowing the age of the roof is a huge, huge process because home insurance companies, 15-year-old roofs and older, there's a lot of them that won't even insure it. They're just completely denying it and they're forcing you to get a brand new roof, which I know it's ridiculous because there's 30-year warranty roofs, there's 50-year warranty roofs, there's the quality is so much better. But you gotta know these things. You gotta know what is coming. And this is stuff that can make or break a deal on a house if you don't want to deal with it or if there's too much. But it also allows you for the major stuff to come back and ask the seller, hey, we want you to correct this. We want you to fix this. Or you can come back and say, let's get some estimates, put the money in escrow so then we can handle it. But then this way, it's saving you the time, the money, the headache. If there's special like health hazards of things, if there's mold in the attic, if there's Federal Pacific panels in the house, all those things should be corrected before you move in because those are health hazards. Federal Pacific panels, if you don't know about them, they're notorious for not tripping breakers and they cause fires. They overheat, the wire catches fire, house burns down. So that's something that you want to get taken care of beforehand, and it's best to ask the seller to do it because it's been their house. They should have that done. So don't skip it. Don't take it lightly. It's a very serious thing to get done, and it should be done no matter what market you are in. And by the way, if you have purchased a home in the past couple years and you skipped a home inspection just to get that house, I know it was kind of crazy and a lot of people felt they needed to do that. Drop a comment down below, let me know. And let me know if you eventually got the home inspection or if you just completely neglected it. And if you did neglect it, are you gonna get one? Next mistake that I am seeing a lot of buyers do is failing to research the neighborhoods thoroughly. Cleveland has a lot of great neighborhoods, a lot of great suburbs, but no two are alike. What fits one person, it may not be the right fit for you. So when you're going out, you pick your areas, you pick your cities you want to move in. If you're at a showing, you see one of the neighbors, talk to them. Ask them what the neighborhood's like. What's, the community like? If you are new to the area, find out, what does the community provide? What amenities do they have? What kind of outdoor activities do they have? Do they have parks? Find out about the school system. That's going to drive home value. So even if you're not planning on having kids or you're done having kids, school systems are going to drive the value of a home. But if you do have kids, make sure that it's going to be up to your standards. Because at the end of the day, you want your child to have the best education that fits you, that fits what you want your child to have. So school districts are a big one. Make sure that, if you want more land, make sure that you're going to a more rural area. So in the Cleveland area, you're going to have to be anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes, an hour away from downtown Cleveland, because you're going to have to look at places like Medina, Wadsworth, Litchfield, Hinckley, Seville. It's going to be a lot of your outskirt cities where all the land is. If you want something with more amenities, a little bit closer to, a lot of different activities, things of that nature, then it's going to be, a lot of the cities, pretty much the majority of them in Cuyahoga County are going to have, a little bit more close-knit communities, like more amenities involved with them. You're not going to get too rural on that aspect. There's communities like Brunswick, you'll have North Ridgeville, Avon, and some of them will have like acre-sized lots. Some of them will have 2-acre-sized lots in those closer communities. But if you really want to be secluded, you're going to be further out. And then with the commute time, be sure you're okay with that. If you're working downtown Cleveland, find out what rush hour is like. Like, yeah, you could go on Google Maps and search it really quick and be like, oh, okay, it's only 32 minutes away. You may be looking at it at 11 o'clock in the morning when there's not any traffic. Now, when you get everybody that's flooding into Cleveland and coming out of Cleveland, that 32 minute that you may have saw, it could end up being 55 minutes. It's really hard to say. So just do your research thoroughly, make sure everything fits your style, and make sure, even if you're looking for crime rate, that is something that you look into and you just really do your research, because you don't want to move into a neighborhood and end up disliking every aspect about it, because it's just going to cause a lot of stress, a lot of grief, and you're going to be moving in, a year, 3 years, instead of that average around 10. And some of you may not even be moving at all if you find that perfect neighborhood. So now the big one that I mentioned. Pay attention to this mistake, because it is causing a lot of buyers to lose out on the home that they want. And it's assuming that a house that's sitting for longer than a week or price drops is necessarily meaning that you can end up bargaining and getting the price down even further. That's simply not the case. We are in a declining market. By declining, I'm meaning prices are starting to come down just a little bit so far, not a lot, but days on market are going up. And it's not just because of the time of year. Days on market have been increasing for the past several months. So a house that's sitting, say, for 2 or 3 weeks, we're not used to seeing that, right? That house may be priced properly and it may be perfect. There might not be anything wrong with it. It could be move-in ready and there's nothing that's stopping it. A lot of buyers are looking at that because we're so used to that fast-paced market that we've seen in the previous years, where a house hits and it was almost like you had to run and like race to be the first one in and to be the first one to put an offer in. Like, it was almost like a concert was going on. There was just an assembly line of people going in showings and just walking in and out like constant open houses is what it kind of felt like. It's not like that anymore. So a home could be priced accordingly and it could be perfectly fine, but it may just be waiting for the right buyer to come in. So average days on market right now are around 23, 24 days in my area. It doesn't mean the house is overpriced. And when you see those price reductions that happen, it doesn't mean necessarily that something is wrong with the house. It could just be that it is overpriced and it needs to come down. So if there's not a lot of showings that are happening or no showings at all, that's an indicator to the seller, at least, that they are overpriced for the market. Comps are really difficult right now because anything that sold in the previous 6 months, 3 months, a lot of them are not comparable because of the decline. So the market's going to dictate it for the sellers. But for you as a buyer, don't automatically assume that there's something, detrimental with the house. Like there's a huge deal breaker. It's not the case. And also don't assume that, a house is sitting for 12 days on market, I can come down $40,000. A lot of sellers will still just straight up reject the offer. They're not going to counter it. They take it as a slap in the face and they just straight up reject it and you're out. You end up losing the house. And sometimes if you come back and want to give them more, they'll kind of look at it and be like, well, why didn't they do this in the first place? So they kind of just get a bad taste in their mouth. Just trust your agent, believe in them. We're going to guide you the right way. We're going to do what's in your best interest. So yes, homes could be overpriced sitting on the market. They may not be overpriced sitting on the market. They could have stuff that is wrong. Don't necessarily believe all the negative, things that could happen or could be going on with a house, whether it's overpriced or something's wrong, if it's sitting on the market for a longer period of time, because we are in a decline. We are making that shift to that buyer's market. Have you made one of these mistakes and learned from them? Or did you learn some brand new things of what to avoid? Drop a comment down below and let me know. I'm curious. If you need help with your next move, I help people just like you every single week buying their perfect home. Contact me directly here or go in the description below and use one of the methods I have listed. If you got any value from this video, be sure to smash the like button. It's greatly appreciated. Don't forget, click subscribe, turn notifications on so you can stay up to date on all my real estate insights and property tours that I have coming your way.